On this episode of GWeek, the nation has come together to mourn the passing of President George H.W. Bush, who died on November 30th at the age of 94. GWeek reporter Julia Albert joins us in studio to discuss his legacy and reactions to his death.
Plus, we'll give you the inside on the Multicultural Student Services Center as they celebrated their 13th annual Thanksgiving dinner.
And we'll give you the scoop on all the holiday events happening on campus and around the city. All this and more on GWeek. Welcome to the show. I'm Vruti Venkatesan.
And I'm Ethan Evers. Here at GWeek, we mourn the loss of President George H.W. Bush, our nation's 41st president, who recently passed away at his home in Houston. Joining us in the studio is reporter Julia Albert to discuss his legacy. Thanks for joining us, Julia.
Thanks for having me. George H.W. Bush, the 41st President of the United States, passed away at the age of 94 on November 30th. Family and friends remember Bush for his humor and leadership throughout his personal life and political career. Bush served as president in the late 80s and early 90s, as vice president under Ronald Reagan, as a United Nations ambassador, and even as the director of the CIA for a short stint. He is known for his navigation of foreign policy challenges during the fall of communism in Europe and his plan for national security. Current and retired politicians, thousands of civilians, and more paid their respects to Bush here in D.C. during a 4-day funeral tribute ending in a private funeral at the National Cathedral. He was laid to rest Thursday near his home in Houston at Texas A&M next to his wife Barbara, who passed a few months ago. I went to the White House this week to talk to the public about their memories of the fallen president.
So as you may know, George H.W. Bush recently passed away. How do you think that he's remembered here in the United States?
Okay. I think that he's remembered. The thing that came across to me the most strongest was that he was a selfless man, and he was the last of a generation of people that really served, and he always gave credit to other people and acknowledged his mistakes. And I think that's a really awesome quality in a politician and a person.
People passing by the White House remember Bush for his life of service to our country, first in the Navy and then in the government. They were impressed by his leadership in the face of scrutiny and feel that he left a positive, long-lasting legacy.
I think he'll be remembered with fondness and as a decent person who really wanted the best for our country.
Those who viewed the funeral coverage were touched by the kind words spoken by politicians on both sides of the political aisle, as well as his son, 43rd President George W. Bush.
I think he was a great president and people really respect him.
The overall consensus was that the former president was laid to rest with respect and will be sorely missed. GWTV mourns the loss of our 41st president, and our thoughts and prayers are with the Bush family. Here for GWeek, I'm Julia Albert.
It was very interesting getting to speak with people over by the White House and to learn about his political career and how he was so well respected by people on both sides of the political spectrum. I thought that was really special to see, especially in today's political climate.
Yeah, and while he didn't have a spotless record, I mean, no president, no political servants ever really had a spotless record. It was really nice to see people from both sides of the aisle come together and celebrate his life and celebrate who he was and his legacy.
Absolutely, and at his funeral, you could tell that he was really respected by everybody. Like, he was someone that everyone really enjoyed his presence and his company and his leadership. Like, in the front row, you could see three past presidents. You could see Obama and Bush and Clinton, and even Carter was actually there. Yeah, so people from Republicans and Democratic parties really could see that they both respected him.
And that was the first time since the inauguration they've all been in the same room.
Exactly.
Right, all together, yes. I don't know if you saw, but on Twitter, Michelle Obama had posted a few words about the fallen president and about a photo that she had taken with him previously, and how it was just such a sweet photo. He was in a wheelchair and bent over and giving her a kiss on the cheek, and I just thought it was such a special moment, and really, like we were saying, echoes that bipartisanship that he seemed to really embody.
Yeah, and she really emphasized the fact that he was just a decent human being, and as did Bill Clinton when he published his op-ed in the Washington Post that shared the letter that George H.W. Bush gave to him in the Oval Office before leaving.
Yeah, I thought that letter was really, really sweet. It was not that long. It was only about a page long, but in the end, he said, like, basically, I respect you. I think you're going to be a good president for everybody, not just your political party, and that's your job to be a president for everybody. And he just wished him luck and wished him all the best for his career, and it turns out he did a really good job.
Yeah, and he said, I'm rooting for you, and said, gave his advice about the criticism that he obviously did face during his time, but also handled with a lot of grace.
Right, and I think it says a lot to have those words of encouragement from a former president. I think that kind of gives you a lot of confidence, and it shows that there is more unity than might be seen in the public eye at all times, especially between the two sides of the political spectrum.
Yeah, which is something that in times like now, in the past 2-3 years, where we've seen a lot of divide in terms of the political scene. So it's really nice, and it's definitely a nice reminder of what this, I guess, what the government, what the political scene can be now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Julia. Coming up, GWeek talks to Frank Sesno, the director of GW's School of Media and Public Affairs. Stay with us. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, ready?
Let's go.
Welcome to
Wait, do you want me to go or?
I thought I was going.
No,
You go. You go.
Sean and Michael,
Yeah,
why
well,
don't you guys?
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, ready?
Welcome to G.
I thought I was supposed to
I
start.
thought I was gonna go first.
I thought.
Here comes Parker.
Come on, guys. It's not that hard, all right? It's just one line. All right. You guys know the line.
Welcome to GWTV. You can visit us at gw-tv.com.
See, that wasn't so bad.
Welcome back to the show. Frank Sesno is the current director of SMPA. He's also a journalist and former CNN correspondent. Reporter Sarah Gregory recently sat down with him to learn more about his career and his role at GW.
Although Frank Sesno is a popular face around the School of Media and Public Affairs, many students are unaware of his specific role in the lives of students and faculty. He sat down to tell GWeek more about his job.
Immediately before I was at GW, I was at George Mason University. I had a joint appointment at the School of Public Policy in the Communication Department, and I also did some work at the National Defense University. But really, before I was at GW, I was doing journalism. I was at the CNN. And while I was here, I had a status, too, for a while as special correspondent, so I did documentaries and various other projects. But before I got into academia, I was full-time at CNN, where I was the bureau chief and had been a White House correspondent and had a Sunday show, talk show. So I guess you'd say I was doing the journalism, doing the broadcasting. A typical day for the director of the School of Media and Public Affairs depends on the day. So a typical day might be teaching and diving into curricular issues. What are our classes? What does the graduate program look like? A typical day might be diving into personnel issues, because part of what we do is to make sure that our faculty have the support they need so they can conduct their research, so that they're promoted when the time is right, so that they get tenure if they're coming up for tenure, so that our staff are well tended to in terms of their own professional development, that kind of thing. A typical day can mean meeting with students or hearing student presentations or meeting with, as I did not too long ago, students who want to be engaged in a director's advisory council, so we have the voice of the students as part of an ongoing dialogue here. We want to serve our students really well. I like to say, work hard, think deeply, and have fun. Work hard at whatever you do. Throw yourself at it. Be the best that you can be. Don't worry about other people, worry about yourself. Define success your way. Think deeply. Go beyond the superficial question and go to the deeper issues of why and from where and toward what end. And have fun. Do what you have passion to do. Find a purpose in it that is self-motivating, and laugh and smile.
For GWeek, I'm Sarah Gregory.
Thanks, Sarah. GW recently announced the construction of a new residence hall on the Foggy Bottom campus. Campus administrators have incorporated student feedback into the newly released floor plans. The designs feature loft-style student meeting spaces and two-person rooms with adjoining bathrooms. Construction is expected to kick off in spring of 2019, and the dorm will open in the fall of 2022.
An alarming new report has drawn attention to the widespread issue of food insecurity for GW students. Reporter Madeline Taylor looked into possible causes of this trend and responses around campus.
For a school with a Whole Foods right on campus, food may not seem like that big of a problem here at GW. However, many students struggle with food insecurity, and different groups across campus are working to address the problem. A new report from the Wisconsin Hope Lab reveals that 39% of GW students surveyed have experienced low or very low levels of food security, compared to the national average of 36%. Multiple factors cause this level of insecurity on campus, including a recent change to the meal plan. Now, students living on campus with a kitchen receive $1,400 and students without a kitchen receive $2,300 a semester. But even students with a kitchen may not know how to shop affordably, and many students prefer to grocery shop for healthier options.
Some of our main focuses this year have been affordability. How do we make it so students are sufficiently fed?
That's why GW has started piloting a new Supermarket Sundays program.
If GW students come to our Supermarket Sunday events, they can spend $40 on food at Whole Foods and get $10 back onto their GWorld.
Other student-run efforts have emerged in recent years, including The Store.
The Store is a student-run food pantry here on campus designed to help students who maybe are having difficulty providing enough food for themselves, whether that be on their meal plan or if they live off campus and don't have a meal plan. We're here as sort of a resource for them.
Over 850 people utilize The Store, including students and faculty. Despite these efforts, it is likely that the university will continue to struggle with this issue.
It's a combination of sort of structural factors that make dining here at GW very difficult. But I think, there's more information, more things that we could be doing.
As awareness for food insecurity grows on campus, we will keep a lookout for more programs developed to assist students. For GWeek, this is Madeline Taylor.
Thanks, Madeline. After more than a year of searching, it has been decided that Crystal City in Arlington, Virginia, and Long Island City in Queens, New York, will be home to Amazon's 2 new headquarters. According to Amazon, these new developments will create 25,000 new jobs in each city. However, many politicians are speaking out about the strain on local resources and the increased gentrifications these developments may cause.
Newly elected Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez made waves, tweeting on November 12th, quote, "Amazon is a billion-dollar company. The idea that it will receive hundreds of millions of dollars in tax breaks at a time when our subway is crumbling and our communities need more investment, not less, is extremely concerning to the residents here," unquote. As Amazon begins hiring for these locations in the new year, it will become clear how these developments will affect local areas.
Coming up, we'll give you a look at MSSC's annual Thanksgiving dinner. We'll be right back.
Oh my gosh, Izzy. Michael, what's wrong? Trump just tweeted again. I guess we're gonna have to debate about it. This is Colonial Crossfire.
Welcome back. Former presidential candidate Bernie Sanders visited Lisner Auditorium on November 27th to discuss his new book, Where We Go From Here. Elizabeth Dewey sat in on the conversation. Take a look.
We're here at Lisner Auditorium, where Bernie Sanders will be speaking about his new book, Where We Go From Here. What do you hope to hear about tonight in the discussion?
So one thing that I know Senator Sanders is very big on is Medicare for All policy, in which a single-payer program in which the government is mainly responsible for providing health care to every citizen as a right. And I'm not too familiar with the concept. I've had minimal experience reading about it, so I'd like to hear more what he has to say about it, and hopefully I'll come away being more knowledgeable about it.
He is doing what no president in my memory has ever done, and that is quite intentionally for cheap political gain. He is trying to divide the American people. Our job was exactly the opposite. Our job is to bring the American people together, black and white and gay and straight and male and female.
What were your thoughts on the Bernie Sanders discussion?
I think he provided a lot of new, refreshing ideas, ideas that haven't been spoken about much because the nation right now has become so divisive and people are believing what the news agencies are saying, and those are very repetitive ideas. And these are discussions that do not actually provide solutions. These are discussions that only talk about the issues. But Bernie Sanders has provided solution to a lot of problems that the Americans are facing right now.
That our task for the sake of our kids and our grandchildren was to stand up and fight back and take on this type of ugly reactionary politics.
For GWTV, I'm Elizabeth Dewey.
Thanks, Elizabeth. The world's major leaders recently gathered in Buenos Aires for the G20 summit from November 30th through December 1st. Major agreements involved important issues like immigration and the international monetary system. The United States was the only country to not sign on to a joint statement on climate change, reaffirming President Trump's decision to withdraw from the Paris Climate Accords.
For 13 years, GW's Multicultural Student Services Center has hosted an annual Thanksgiving dinner. Reporter Michael Beans joined them for some food, fun, and celebration.
Before last Thanksgiving break, the Multicultural Student Center hosted a Thanksgiving dinner for students of all stripes.
So MSSC is the perfect place to have a Thanksgiving meal. I think honestly, actually every day is like Thanksgiving here, where we welcome everyone. Everyone has a place at the table, and there's enough food to go around to make everyone feel satisfied and feel happy. And so MSSC is the perfect place for Thanksgiving.
The Multicultural Student Center celebrated its 13th annual Thanksgiving dinner on November 20th to serve students who couldn't be home for the holiday.
The theme and tradition for this dinner is about gratitude, about being thankful and grateful. That's all we ask, is that you take a minute and reflect on that today.
Oh, it's fine.
We look at Thanksgiving with a little bit of a twist and focus on the notion of giving thanks. That is, being thankful for things that we have and being grateful for the opportunities we have here at a place like GW and here in the MSSC. And so that's why we talked about gratitude at the very beginning of the program, just so that young people can take a minute and be thankful. The focus for us is really giving thanks for all the things and all the benefits we have. So what we wanted to do was to at least remind people that we're thinking about them. We're going to try to take a day and look out for them, serve them well, and hope that the good feelings associated with the MSSC Giving Thanks dinner helps them make their way through the next couple of days.
We get an opportunity to provide some semblance of family that they may have if they can't make it home, if they're international students, or if it's just too far to go in such a short time. Food brings people together. It's part of all of our cultures, no matter where you're from. So it's a great common thread to build community around.
Thanksgiving means really appreciating what you have in life, especially your friends and family.
Despite the issues and stuff that we have going on in this world, we all can just come together and be as one.
Time to, give thanks, but also to just get with people that you love and spend time together and just show your love and appreciation in that way.
I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. This has been Michael Beans reporting for GWeek.
Thanks, Michael. Looking for a way to brighten up this final season? Check out Georgetown Glow, an outdoor light show scattered around the neighborhood that celebrates local and international artists. The show runs until January 7th, 2019, from 5 to 10 p.m. nightly. Coming up, GWeek will take you around one of DC's most popular holiday spots, the Downtown Holiday Market. Stay tuned.
Hey, Cole. Yeah. Thank God we don't all look the same.
Thanksgiving has come and gone, and the city is in full holiday mode. Since 1964, the Speaker of the House has lit the Capitol Christmas tree to ring in the holiday season. Every year, a tree is chosen from a different national forest to decorate the west lawn of the U.S. Capitol. This year's tree made its journey from Willamette National Forest in Oregon to the District of Columbia. It was lit by Speaker Paul Ryan on December 6th.
So do you have any fun holiday traditions like that?
I do, actually. My mom and I, we always make a big pot of hot cocoa, your best store-bought hot cocoa, and we sit in front of the TV and watch Hallmark cheesy movies.
Well, that sounds like fun.
It's a ton of fun. What do you celebrate?
Well, in addition to Christmas, I also celebrate Hanukkah, which is actually the subject of our next headline. The 40th National Hanukkah Menorah was illuminated in a ceremony near the White House on December 2nd, celebrating the first night of the Jewish holiday. Guests were treated to latkes and jelly donuts following the event, and free dreidels and menorah kits were also handed out to spectators.
Do you guys exchange presents?
Yeah, but that probably won't be for another couple of weeks or so when I go home.
Well, have you bought your presents?
No.
Well, that's actually perfect because our next headline tells us more. There's actually no better place for some last-minute gift shopping than DC's downtown holiday market. Ethan, listen closely because reporter Kate Waters went to the market to talk about the vendors about their businesses.
Vendors and shoppers are gathered on F Street for the annual Downtown Holiday Market. The market will run every day from noon to 8 p.m. until December 23rd. This market only has 64 tents, but 150 vendors rotate through the tents over the course of 4 weeks.
I've been in business 3 years, and I am the owner. And we specialize in pound cakes like grandma's, made from scratch with high ingredients. This is my first year at this market, and this market has lots of opportunities and different vendors, unique things that you don't find everywhere else.
The market receives hundreds of applications every year, and a committee decides who gets a tent and who is put on a wait list. The products being sold at this market range from baked goods to clothing to art.
So anything that we can kind of put something in front of you that you kind of recognize immediately, like a Captain America or like a Princess Leia, and mix that with a message that we really want to convey and something that's really important message-wise to here in the DC area. I think that's kind of the overall theme. I used to work in Chinatown, so I've been coming to the holiday market for probably a decade, but it's my first time ever working here. But it's fun to be able to, you don't get too many craft shows in the DC area. You get Eastern Market, and you get the Waterfront Market, but like actual downtown holiday market where you get a lot of different crafters from here in the district. It's really fun because I mean, there's so many different malls and things you can go to and see the same things all the time, and like to be able to come here and actually buy things from people that work and craft here in the district is really cool.
It's now in its 14th year, and it's really become a tradition for people to come down here and shop. They can find unique gifts and meet the makers. So some folks come every year just to find the same businesses, and some are excited to see new businesses.
For GWeek, I'm Kate Waters.
Looks fun, Kate. GW is celebrating the final week of the semester with a series of relaxing events for students to enjoy. Students kicked off the week with midnight breakfast in the Smith Center and free aromatherapy in Lerner. You won't want to miss another breakfast break, puppies, or massage chairs in the days to come. GW hopes that students can use these activities to de-stress in this final lap of the semester. For more information, check out the Colonial Health Center.
Well, that's the end of our show. Until next time, make sure to check out GW TV on our website at www.gw-tv.com. And thanks for tuning in, GW. We'll see you around campus, and from all of us here at GW TV,
Happy holidays.